Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Are we on?
I think we're on.
Damn.
I think we're on. What's up, everybody? Welcome into a Loser's Lounge. Nuggets fall in dramatic fashion, 127-126 to the Sacramento Kings. Shorthanded Nuggets. No Murray, no Porter, no Jeff Green, no Bruce Brown.
No Aaron Gordon?
I think I mentioned him to start it. But either way, Nuggets shorthanded, almost get the win. It still feels a little disappointing, but I feel like there's a lot of things to talk about. So we'll get to all of it. We're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook.
Achy Dragon with a positive first comment. Stop the presses, shut the show down. We're stopping there.
Is he usually negative?
Oh, my
he
God.
Or she?
Yeah, he or she.
Achy Dragon.
Still tied for first.
Coming
That's
with
right,
it.
Achy Dragon.
Turning a new leaf, Achy Dragon is.
Oh, come on. Even Achy Dragon has the proper perspective on tonight's loss.
You know what? There you go. I'm joined by Vogt, LL Bean himself.
I think that's a tough one because it got away, fellas. It's a loss you could live with, but the way they lost, it's tough. Luckily, we get to talk about it for an hour.
Were they robbed? We'll
Were they robbed?
Sometimes you can't complain when you are robbed, but you know.
I know.
It's
It's like they had
left
100 chances to win this
You left
game.
your door unlocked.
It was a
you
hook,
left your door
though. It
unlocked.
was a
You had
hook,
like all the
though.
lights on in the house. The window was open.
Look at us.
The pile of cash in the middle of the living room.
Did they go out?
They left the car running.
Did
You
they
were
go out
begging
through
to
the
be-
side door?
They went through the side door and won this one. I also have Harrison Wind here.
They were robbed. They were robbed.
Nice and succinct. And
At least we should have gotten 5 minutes of overtime.
And a man I know is going to bring pragmatic and casual takes. It's calm takes. It's D-line.
That sounds like you're reintroducing Harrison.
I'm sorry, the man with the hot takes.
Let's go. Dude, the Nuggets, I guess they suck. I don't know.
Man, they were good. I'm telling you, the thing that sucked about this game is Nuggets are shorthanded, and I thought a lot of good things happened in this one. It's just you got to close out. And there's two things in particular. Jokic not coming in till 6 minutes, which some of this is just random, but you're watching it. You're kind of like, all right, it's time. Let's get him back in the game. And then just the defense down the stretch. Can you get defense? Denver couldn't get any of them. I thought the offense was actually like okay, given who was out there, so many guys.
Right.
But the defense was just non-existent. Let's go to a fast recap here, guys. 12-3 start for the Nuggets. The start of this game was fantastic. And Harrison, I talk about this a lot. When you game plan for a team, and then when guys are out, the other team's game plan changes at the last second too. They're like, well, I don't know Zeke Naji, and I got Bone. Like, everything's different. And I felt like Denver came out with energy, came out with focus, and, I mean, they threw the first punch, the first few punches.
They were up 40-24 after 12 minutes.
One trait about the Nuggets that I'm growing to hate, they get the other team in the bonus really early every damn quarter.
Well,
right
when
now.
Zeke Naji's playing starter minutes, that tends to potentially happen.
Kings were in the bonus with 8 minutes remaining. You're right. This is like a lot of quarters. That was three straight quarters where he started where they were in the bonus. Kings were doubling hard. You see this a lot when you play these 2 games in a row against a team where teams will try one strategy, one game completely different. It happens all the time. This one, they were sending crazy doubles, and I thought Jokic was like, all right, do that. Bones missed his first 2 threes. I thought he was making good plays as like a playmaker, but early on in this game, he could not score. But his drought extended to the second, all the way in the first half. And early on, there was some that were like, man, I think, Eric, you said you had lost confidence in his ability to hit him.
I lost confidence in my bones.
No, man. You can never lose confidence in your bones. Jokic had 3 coast-to-coasts in the first period. He was a track star tonight. MPJ caught fire. We got a little Porter quarter. Jokic had 12 in the first period, and I thought, like, what a big quarter. And then Porter had 13. 40-24. You guys aren't enjoying these when you know how it ends, huh? It's like I'm recapping the good part. Everybody's kind of like...
it's hard to get hyped about.
40-24 Nuggets. 40 points in the first quarter.
That what happened, Adam?
Well, Bench had some good minutes and possessions, but King started a little mini run about 3 minutes in. The non-Jokic minutes overall were a -2. I would say the bench survived those minutes.
Yeah.
Played them to a draw.
Sure.
Ish.
Hey, the bench playing the other team to a draw is like,
Massive
I want to
dub.
go streaking on Colfax.
Massive W.
Especially when you're up 16. You know, like... Ish had some joystick plays in that first quarter or second quarter, man. He had some like left, right, straight, back, forward. It was crazy. Kings in the bonus with 5:30, so lasted 3 extra minutes or 2.5 extra minutes in that quarter. Zeke Naji had a really good putback off of a Jokic buzzer-beating 3. Remember that? Jokic got caught, and that was a big momentum halt. When you're up 15, there's all these moments where you're like, oh my God, are they going to cut it to single digits? Zeke Naji's like putback on that one was one of those, boom, stop the bleeding plays. Really big for him. Jokic got fouled in the post a lot tonight. He got fouled in one particular. There was a no call, and he was pissed. Kings went the other way and scored 5-point swing, and Jokic rightfully was furious about it. And I thought the Nuggets were going to unravel. Not the case. Nuggets responded with their own punch, a bones by 3, and it was huge. He hit a 3, got the monkey off his back, and you thought, okay. Then he had a couple finishes at the rim. He started to get his offense going. They went up by 19 points with about a minute and a half left in the half, but then a 6-0 run to end. This is the difference between, honestly, this was one of those moments, the difference between a veteran team, Murray, Gordon, Jokic, and a non-veteran team is they can just not understand how important those last minutes are. You're up 19. Even if you play bad and you're up 15, it feels good. But if you give up a 6-0 run, 13, it's like, come on, man, you just lost a lot of momentum. 75-62 Nuggets. MPJ on the very first play tried to get a steal, missed, and Jokic had to foul to save a layup to pick up his third foul. First play out of the half. That was a big one for me. Some disaster offense. Sacramento was going on runs, not because of good offense, because Denver was having bad offense, and they were getting transition. But timeout, settle things down, 5-0 run for the Nuggets with a bones 3, a second of the night, bones 3, and you thought, okay, good, you stemmed the tide. Let's see here. Felt like Jokic, Vlatko had a 3 in the third. Brown had a drive with a crafty left-handed finish. He had some nice finishes tonight. Those were big. Vlatko almost made a half-court heave at the end of the third quarter, 105-94 Nuggets.
I thought that was in.
I mean, think about it. They would have won if that would have gone in, and it was so close. It was a crazy one. 105-94 Nuggets. Nuggets had 105 points in 3 quarters of this game without, half of their best scorers.
Crazy.
Porter missed a 3 and got blocked at the rim to start the quarter. It was like, hey, you need some MPJ minutes here, and he just didn't deliver, at least in that one little stretch. But Christian Brown did. He had a huge 3.
Yeah.
That you were just looking for anybody in that lineup to score some points with Jokic not in there. But nonetheless, the second unit is starting to give up the lead little by little, just little by little. Jokic goes to the bench with about 7 minutes, which I thought was a little too late, and he stays there because there's no whistle for the longest.
Right.
I wish Michael Malone would have called a timeout.
Yeah.
He did not. They cut it all the way to 6 points finally by the time he checks into the game.
Well, more to come on that.
Yeah,
decision.
so 112-106 when Jokic came back in, and you're just thinking like, damn, man, they were just up 18 points, 15 points, and here we are. Nuggets just got 0 stops that last 6 minutes.
0.
Well, that's true. They got 1. They got 1, which is I thought all they were going to need. With a minute 44, the game was tied. Christian Brown got a dunk on Trey Lyles that was just a hell of a play. KCP drew an offensive foul. He's very good at this, by the way. You notice how did they beat the Suns? Didn't he draw an offensive foul? He's very good at this. He's got a couple.
He's
crafty.
Well.
I think it's legit contact, but he also just sells it.
Well.
Sells it very,
He
very
knows
perfect.
how to bait the refs into calls.
And then on what was the last possession for the Nuggets, or second to last, really, Jokic misses a 10-footer. Just so close, man. Got the spot
a
where
shot you take any day of the week.
And I should say the play before that, De'Aaron Fox gets not De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk gets what I thought was a hook on
You don't
KCP.
have to sugarcoat it. He hooked him.
I mean, he hooked
Absolute
him.
hook.
Yeah,
It was kind of a bullshit hook. And
It
then,
was.
And then KCP, some people on the timeline were saying they didn't think it was a foul. I think he probably called that most of the time.
Yeah.
And that is what it is. So Nuggets dropped this one. Fourth quarter, 33-21, they get outscored. Such a bummer. All right, Eric, start us off. What's your big takeaway?
This was free money. As we mentioned, this is an extreme bummer that they dropped this game. It was good to see Bones Hyland come back into confidence a little bit, like to see his scoring come. We saw, however, like you alluded to, down the stretch when you needed like veteran, steady hand, not only handling the ball, but also playing defense. Like there's a difference between Jamal Murray and Bones Hyland. Like there just is. And he, for all of the great things that Bones did tonight, which I think is the real, like what you can really look at is this is great for the future.
Right.
He had a lot of gaffes that I think ultimately probably cost the Nuggets the game, unfortunately. But, you got to kind of take the good with the bad because there's no other choices in this life. This game felt like kind of like one step forward, 2 steps back. Like we made progress, but we also stepped backwards.
Yeah. I mean, it felt like 126 step forward and 127 steps back, meaning it was such a razor's edge that they almost.
But it shouldn't have been. Like they were killing him for most of the game, and it just, it's funny because we always our favorite stat to harken back to is the clutch time defense. And
I mean, that was
they were. It was
going to take a
horrific
big hit tonight.
Horrific. I mean, and a lot of that has to do with personnel.
Yeah,
You know?
it really does. I want to go back though before we get to your guys' other big take. I want to hark on this for a little bit because we all, we're starting in the early days of the Jokic Murray era, and Nuggets would have a game like this and you'd be ecstatic. You'd be bummed, but you'd be like, man, they're so good if they just put it together. And when you get to this stage, you really notice the difference between a player like Bones who flashed some things tonight that you're like, that's right. There it is. He's getting it back. Man, so dynamic. He can finish. He was delivering passes to Jokic. Honestly, he got the ball to Jokic a lot in the fourth quarter in Jokic's spot. Jokic was carrying us. He was doing it. In fact, I felt like you could have got him one more. They came up one shy, but they got like 4 or 5 in a row to him. And I'm like, Bones, that's exactly it. The difference is veteran teams also know exactly where the margins are, exactly where they were. And tonight, Denver, Zeke, some of the guys just, you could tell they didn't know where those margins, they didn't recognize them when they were there, and it ended up to bite them. So real stark to what we usually see with a veteran team.
Yeah.
What do you got, Wind?
Well, in the first half, we were talking about it downstairs while the game was going on. I thought this was the hardest Nikola Jokic played all season.
Man.
In the first half. He was busting his ass tonight, running down the floor, beating his man down every single time, going at Sabonis one-on-one whenever he got it in the post. He was so aggressive. Like, he was forcing the issue, playing his butt off on defense, too. He had a great defensive first half, I thought. And then the Nuggets just ran out of gas in the fourth quarter.
They really did.
And that seems like the biggest thing that happened in regards to the clutch defense tonight. Yes, they didn't have Aaron Gordon, who in all these clutch defensive performances has been unbelievable.
Yep.
They didn't have him. Jamal Murray obviously out as well. Bruce Brown out. Maybe he would have been on the floor. Maybe he wouldn't have been. But it seemed like Denver ran out of gas. And that fourth quarter defensively, like, they were just stuck in mud. They couldn't move.
Yeah.
They couldn't guard anybody off the bounce.
Right.
It was the Nuggets defense, from the first quarter that we've seen all season long. And that was disappointing, but I don't think this is a loss you want to beat yourself up over.
No.
They were on the second night of a back-to-back. So was Sacramento. But
Hard to beat a team twice at home, though, or on the road, in their home.
I mean, they were up 20 in the third quarter.
They should have won this.
They should have won. That being said, I wouldn't lose sleep over this one. It's a loss.
That's
it
what I'm
happens.
Yeah. What's your big takeaway?
I'm going to go this isn't about blame. This is just about I have gone out of my way to praise Porter a lot. I thought his second half was really poor tonight. Defensively down the stretch, he was as bad as he's been. We've talked a lot about how good or better than expected his defense has been at times. Tonight was not one of those times. I thought after that hard fall he had on that drive, he was not moving well, and he was that kind of defensive liability we have talked about on the floor to close the game. The loss is certainly not on him, so if that's what this sounds like, not the case. But just notable, so many steps forward. I thought this one was a little step back from him. I'm going to two-part it, though. This is another good example of what Denver, and him as well, it's a two-way street, what Denver and Porter have yet to kind of unlock. Awesome to see him score 30 in that last game. He was so hot to start this game, and then he was nowhere to be found. They couldn't find a way to get him the ball, to get him looks. The crunch time offense didn't involve him whatsoever. And so that's just an interesting thing to take away. In those games when they don't have Murray, can he be more of an option in the fourth? Because he felt like a non-factor on offense and a bad factor on defense.
This is, one of the things that has been true of Porter so far in his career is that he'll have these transcendent stretches, and then that'll be it.
We've called it Porter quarters for a reason.
What was the one? He had one, I think it was 21 points in a quarter one time, and then he finished with 24 or something in the
that's
game.
His MO.
And so this one, he had 13 in the first. He finished with 19. So, there was a little bit of that trail off, and I'm with you. He's just not that involved in the offense sometimes, and it kind of just goes away from him. That being said, again, I'm with you. I don't think this is what this game was about. They were up big. Even after the first quarter, Denver was rolling. I think when Jokic checked out in the third quarter, they had a 143 or 145 offensive rating at that point.
They were cooking,
according to Clean of the Gas. So they were doing great. My takeaway from this one is, getting stops with Jokic, Bones, and Porter on the court in clutch time is going to be tough. Just if you told me that, just from personnel. But then you factor in the youth factor of this, and you factor in 2 guards in particular, and Fox and Monk that had it going tonight, in part because it was easy for them. But and you just say, like, man, that's a tough ask. That's a really, really tough ask. I tweeted it out, at the 6-minute mark, something, or actually I think it was before that. Like, Nuggets were up 12 or something at 9 minutes to go, and I'm thinking Denver needs an 8-9 point cushion in clutch time, because this group has never played together in the clutch.
That's exactly it.
And you knew it was going to be ugly, and sure enough, it was.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the failings that we saw tonight came from just guys that don't play together that often, and they didn't. Like, there was just missing synergy at a certain point. Yeah, what is happening?
This is a feet up on the table type game.
I have long legs, and this thing was too close. I was crowded.
Sometimes you just need to put your feet up on the table.
Did you have to also then treat your foot like a big hammer at a fair and just the strongman company?
It's a big boy. I think that's what it was.
But listen, man, like, when players play together longer, they get better. Bones and Jokic don't play together very often at all. And so there were like some weird things that happened. They lost by 1 point.
It happens. It happens. Let's start with the big positive. Jokic tonight, 40 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 15 of 24. I think he was 15 of 22, missed the last 2 of them.
Yeah.
But 15 of 24. And there were moments in this game where you just felt like, my God. I mean, we kind of joked, like, why do we get nervous? Jokic just scores every time. And it's funny, Bones had a good drive where he kept it, but I do think Bones was trying to get it to Jokic a lot.
Yeah.
There were a few times, again, when I talk about not recognizing where the margins are, there were just a few moments where it's like, no, don't go away from him. Just go to him again. Like, don't stop going to Jokic.
I honestly can't believe the hate Bones is getting for this game.
Me too.
Oh, dude,
I'm with you.
Bones Hyland had 20 points, 11 assists, and 1 turnover. That 1 turnover was a big one.
Right.
But he had 1 turnover tonight in 33 minutes with 11 assists. How is he getting so much hate?
I think people are. I mean,
like,
he's the new Barton.
He's had a terrible month. He's had a terrible month.
I'm
but
with
tonight,
you on this.
What is also just ban that draw quick guy. Get him out of my life.
I know.
But
Excuses.
honestly, he's just a terrible person.
That dude.
But here's the thing. Like,
later.
He had that dunk or that tough finish at the rim in the 4th too.
And even the way he ran the game at the end of the game, I think people might be surprised. I think he was doing a little more of what he was asked to do than people realized, which was run the clock, waste some time.
For sure he was.
And they went possession per possession. And by the way, if you look at the math, it ended up with Bones having a chance. It ended up with Jokic with a potential game win.
On a great delivery.
It almost worked.
On a really good delivery.
Bones has a lot to learn, and his defense was horrendous. And, like, this is not an A-plus game.
No,
but with the way he's played this month and the way he played tonight,
it's a massive step forward.
I'm with Win. This is a strong hammer coming
work
down.
out your anger, guys. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, look inward at a certain point.
It's funny, man, because even I stand by my take yesterday where I thought that Bones, it wasn't that he had a good game in the yesterday or in the last game. It was that I thought that he eliminated one of his mistakes that he had been making over the last one. This one, I felt like he, continued to do that. Like, you start with, what are you doing well? And for him over the last few, it had been down here. What are you doing wrong here? I felt like last game went like this, and this game went like this. You know what I mean? Like, you're starting to move the scales a little bit here. Is the defense perfect? No. Was he ready to close out a playoff caliber team? No. But he did, to Harrison's point, 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 11 assists on 50% shooting, both from the field and the three-point line. And, oh, by the way, delivered some great passes against Davion Mitchell, who, by the way, is like, man, that guy's tough, man.
Yeah, you don't want to try Davion Mitchell.
You don't want to try him, and I thought he did again, 1 turnover going up against that is tough. And I just thought that this was a massive step forward for him in a way that we saw with Porter in the Suns game. He didn't have a great game, but he did make some shots, and it led to what was his breakout game, the following one.
Sure.
To me, I feel like Bones has now taken a small step forward in the last game, a big step forward in this game, and I'm not saying he's back or any of this, but to me, I'm encouraged. And if the Nuggets would have won this game, I do think the tenor, if it was 1 point different,
if
or 1
Jokic
bucket
would have
different,
made that shot, which he usually hits, things would be a lot different.
And
but
I think that the Bones context would have been different too, because it would have been, it wasn't a perfect game, but he got it done. Whatever. And the only difference was Jokic missed a 10-footer.
Of course.
So it was a close one, and I'm actually walking away from this game very encouraged with Bones. I will say the next step, and one of the most important ones, is going to be on the defensive end.
Of course.
But in this game, I don't think he took bad shots. I don't think he was forcing things. He was delivering the ball to Jokic, wasn't turning it over. So I'm mostly encouraged by that. Zeke Naji also playing minutes tonight. He had 7 of 9 from the field, 14 points, just 3 rebounds, but it felt bigger than that. He had a steal and a block. I feel like he made an impact on the hustle plays, which is he's another guy who we were paying attention to today. And I thought he had a positive impact on the game.
Absolutely. This is frustrating. I get it. But there are a lot of things that you can point to that be like, okay, guys got a shot that don't typically get a shot. We saw a great game, or at least we saw encouraging signs out of Zeke Naji. We saw him play tough. We saw him get contested rebounds. We saw him put back a lot of shots. And we also saw him hit a 3, which was really refreshing to see. That's the Zeke that we know and love.
That was really refreshing.
We saw Ish Smith come out, run that second unit very admirably, play really fast and like circus like he always does, and that's it's good to remember that we have that. I mean, I'd like to see Malone go to Ish Smith more often in the future, maybe play him alongside Bones. That probably makes even more of a defensive nightmare. I don't know, but Christian Brown, I mean, guys that just don't get time, got time. So you kind of look at a game like this, okay, cool. We got guys, a little bit of confidence. We fumbled the bag at the end, but you lose games in the NBA. So again, I'm probably the most emotional Nuggets fan there is. And I'm okay, what am I, what are we going to do?
You know what? I mean, when you're at this stage, everything you do in the regular season is setting up for the playoffs. Sure. And one of the things the Nuggets have to do, if you're keeping Bones throughout the whole season, which I think they will be, if you're keeping Bones, you need him to be ready for the playoffs. To me, this is a game that better prepared him for that. So this was, by definition, a step in the right direction. And you will hope they win along the way. You always want to learn lessons in wins.
Yep.
And sometimes you learn lessons in 1-point losses on the road on a second night of a back-to-back.
That was good for Bones, to go out there and go through it.
I think so.
I think so. I don't know, man. I think Wynn nailed it. That's a frustrating loss. Watching it was painful. Don't lose any sleep over it.
Yeah. All right, let's take our first break, though. On the other side, we'll get to some of the other guys off the bench that I thought made interesting contributions. Vlatko Chanchar, almost.
He's a laser.
Chucky, almost part of another shorthanded win. I was really hoping for that one.
Dude, that half quarter.
It hit the front of the rim, and then I
almost
went in again.
Don't lie to yourself. You thought it was
That's your half-court shooter's touch.
Yeah. Guys, it's open enrollment time for individual health plans now through January 15th. Denver Health Medical, they offer the Elevate Exchange Plan. It's available on the Connect for Health marketplace. They've got great benefits, affordable plan choices. You can call them directly, 303-602-4912. You can sign up online, denverhealthmedicalplan.org. If you are an individual or a family who needs cost-effective quality health insurance, maybe you don't get coverage through your employer, maybe you are self-employed and need to get coverage, check out Denver Health Medical and their Elevate Exchange Plans, 303-602-4912, denverhealthmedicalplan.org. Also, guys, Illegal Pete's, they've got 10 locations across Colorado and Arizona.
I ate that for dinner tonight.
You had it for dinner.
I had Illegal
Did you get the
Pete's.
typical order?
Can we get a testimonial?
Okay.
How'd it go?
It was great.
Oh, man.
They made
You hear
it
that, Illegal
fantastic.
Pete's? That's double advertising for free.
Yeah. Illegal Pete's is great. They're also the sponsor for our party bus, DNVR Takeover,
Hell
in
yeah.
a couple weeks
Hell
at
yeah.
Ball Arena. Illegal Pete's is in on it. You should be in on it too. Illegal Pete's at any of their locations in Colorado and Arizona. They have happy hour 3 to 6 p.m. every day. They also are hooking you up with this awesome deal because it's the holidays. If you spend $100 on gift cards, you get an extra $25 for free. So if you go to Illegal Pizza Lot, you know you're going to spend $100. Boom, get those gift cards, get $25 for free. As easy as that. So check out Illegal Pete's today.
All right, back here. You know who I thought was good tonight? The guy with the worst plus minus, Christian Brown. He was a -6 tonight.
Yeah.
Again, that's not an individual stat, and when it's that close, I don't think you can really read too much into it. But man, that guy's defense to me is just so unbelievable, and his offense. I said this a little bit ago, Wind with Christian Brown, that I think he's a better offensive player. Like some people are like, yeah, but he's got to be able to shoot. He's got to be able to this. I look at him and I go, I actually think he's an average, non-star rookie offensively.
Yeah.
I love his offensive game because it's just so direct and to the point.
We went on the line. I thought I was on
to
the,
win. You got to work.
I thought I was on the top floor, and then there was like the elevator.
You'll
kept
never
going
be
up.
Like,
above
he's
me
the
on
best
Christian
offensive
Brown.
player we have.
No, he's obviously not. But what I love about his offensive game is, like I just said, he's so like direct and to the point, man.
Yep.
He's athletic. He makes quick decisions. He takes the ball to the rim with confidence.
Yeah.
And yes, I know everybody's going to kill me for it. Tonight was the first game Christian Brown played over 20 minutes that they lost.
Oh no, that happened.
You know whose fault this is, Harrison? Yours.
It's yours,
It
dude.
wasn't Christian Brown's
You
fault.
lost this game.
Why don't
I'll
you-
talk about whose fault it was
You're
maybe
too
in
much
a little.
of a stats guy. You need to become more of an eye test guy.
Yeah, I know. Clip it, post me, tag me on Twitter, like make fun of
drag
me
him.
for it, drag me.
Yeah.
I deserve it. But he was not the reason the Nuggets lost. He played 24 minutes. He should have played the entire last 6 minutes of the game.
Who would he have played for?
Zeke Naji. And the Nuggets played Zeke Naji, I think, to match up with Trey Lyles. But they should have played Christian Brown.
It's a size
Man.
mismatch, but it is weird.
I mean,
It would have been
come
so
on.
nice to have.
you know what? Honestly, suckering the Kings into going to Trey Lyles would have been a win.
Yeah,
There you go.
I don't know if
Like-
you have to match Trey
If
Lyles'
they would have been
size.
like Malik Monk's going off, but Trey Lyles has a couple inches on Christian Brown. We got to go to him.
There's a
Like,
play
all right.
Christian Brown made tonight where he blocked a shot at the rim and then was the first
Yeah,
man down
yep.
the court in
Yep.
transition. And I think he missed the layup or got blocked.
I think it got blocked.
But somehow he beat everybody down
Yeah.
the floor after blocking a shot at the rim.
By the way,
he's a hustler. He's just a ball of energy.
By the way, that play reminds me. Ish Smith, I thought, had some rookie plays tonight in that second half. Man, there was a lot of like the Nuggets are out of control. What are we doing? And Ish hit the like turbo button a few times. I'm like,
He changes direction so quick.
Yeah, but I'm saying
he's
you're
like
up, like,
Harlem Globetrotters.
13, 11 points, 13
Yeah.
points, and it's like, just guys, let Yoke get a rest. You know, like chaos all over the
He's
court.
going
And he's like,
Speedy Gonzalez
yeah, and you're
all
just
over
kind of
the-
like, dude, just hold on, man. We're just running out the clock till Jokic comes back in.
You could tell Christian Brown's getting more confident offensively.
I agree.
Because he had that dunk tonight.
Man, that was
finally
nice. Do
we
like his
call that a
first
dunk?
big dunk.
Yes,
But it was a dunk, but I feel like he lost the ball and then re-got it and dunked it.
I'll have to see the slow mo. I
Yeah,
thought he
I'll
just
have to
like
go back
dunked
and
it,
look.
and
I
like
thought he kind of lost the ball, but then caught it again and finished it.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Well, he got that. I mean, you can just tell his confidence is going up.
that finish. By the way, the left-handed driving baseline.
Yeah, that
yeah.
one too.
That was crazy.
Yeah. I like the way he played tonight.
I just think he's really good, and I'm excited for him to be more and more a part of the team. He's such a good and solid piece.
Just so many bright things. This is the thing. Like on any given night, if we had one of the guys back that were out, like if we were able to close with Bruce Brown at the point, that's a dub. Like,
yeah.
Bones will never be in this position again.
Right.
Like,
I don't know. I mean, like he might be in this position because Murray will probably not play back to back. So there's always.
but
there's another
Bruce
injury.
Brown would probably.
Sure.
The position being running the point in the very end of the game in the last 5 minutes. Like,
Here's the thing. I thought Denver played okay down the final 4 or 5 minutes offensively.
Offensively,
they missed like
incredible.
one or two. You got to get
Both
stops.
teams scored every time.
And Bones does have to improve in defense, but like I said, there's these little incremental things. So there's a runway for Bones that I don't think the fan base wants to afford him because you're in win now mode and you're judging everything by can you get this done at the highest level. And right now, Bones defensively doesn't look like that. But again, everything you do prepares yourself for that. I can't stress this enough that the Memphis Grizzlies last year, from basically this point of the season all the way until the playoffs and in the playoffs, started Zaire Williamson. Maybe the worst starter.
Zaire.
What did I call him?
Zion.
Did I
He's
call
the
him
other
Zaire?
one. Zion plays in New Orleans.
Zaire. What did I call him?
Zion.
Oh, geez. Zaire Williams. And he,
Yeah. he's so like not relevant. We don't even know his name.
yeah. But he's not a good player, man, and he's not even a good decision maker.
He's
a good-
barely in the rotation this year.
he's been hurt or this or that. But he just was like, it was one of those things that they knew they had to suffer through. And there were going to be games they lost because this or that, but they would be ready for him, and it paid off. And I do think there's going to be a little bit of this with Bones, especially when you have to rest Murray the way that you did. KCP, I thought, also was very good tonight. He does need to start making this a little bit more of these shots. But
Yeah.
That air ball was tough.
that was very tough.
I think it was blocked.
That would make
Maybe.
sense.
Well, wasn't
Yeah.
that the possession that he just took when the ball never
I
saw
did-
Jokic? That
I
was
think
the one that
I think he hurt his wrist a couple
Well,
games ago.
He did. It was on, he's been on the injury report.
And then
spring shooting.
he hasn't been finishing at the rim very well. Like he's just not
You're right.
quite looked himself. So
a little rest for him, maybe we'll do him some good. What other notes do you have from this game?
What did you guys think of Zeke Naji?
We talked about
We
him
talked
earlier,
about
but
him a little.
Did
I
we?
thought he just
Was
played
I here?
within himself, played in his
I
role.
think you were seated right there.
Didn't try to do anything too crazy.
Do you guys want to go over it again, just a third time, just in case?
What did you think of Zeke
What else do
Naji?
you have?
I mean, I do think there are some very questionable calls for Michael Malone in this game. And I mean, that challenge that
was
he
crazy.
tried to pull with 6:25 left in the fourth, when they only had 3 timeouts, and there was no chance that call was getting reversed. I thought that was a terrible challenge. And then they only had 2 timeouts for the last 6+ minutes of the game. He took forever to get Jokic back into the game. Jokic was sitting at the table for a while, but
Again, if you just swap the challenge with calling a timeout
Sure.
earlier for Jokic, then
do that.
you probably win this.
Yeah, Jokic didn't get in the game quick enough, and I didn't like him taking Christian Brown out for Zeke, for the last 6 minutes. Then he put Christian Brown back in, but it was too late.
I wonder if one of 2 ways. You have 2 chances. You probably win that challenge, right, on the KCP play. Can you challenge
The
for
hook? I don't think you could challenge the hook.
You can't. Can you challenge?
You could challenge the swipe down,
But can on that play, can they review the hook and call it an
I don't
offensive
think
I don't
so.
know.
I don't
Maybe.
think so.
I don't
think
know,
so.
though. Maybe. I don't know.
This is a lot of hindsight, I know, but it did feel that it's the real point is the initial challenge felt futile.
I talked to somebody one time with a team that was talking about how the processes of challenging is the thing that it is. It's always about the process. And I think a lot of coaches, in fact, I would probably say most coaches, make those choices that break protocol. Meaning it's like, hey, I'm going to trust so-and-so. My assistant coach here, you're my challenge guy. And then that guy's nervous to say anything because you tell him this and it's wrong and then it's this or that. And so then what happens is a coach will be wrapped up in the moment and be like, we got to challenge this. We got to challenge it. And it's like, yeah. And then the assistants are like, yeah, we do.
This seemed like one where he looked back and his assistants gave him the go-ahead.
It's funny, man. I think the weird thing is there are places where I think analytics really help and places where it hurts.
Yeah.
The big picture stuff, it almost always helps, like this, that. But like in the moment type stuff, I actually think this is one where it does. There are types of plays that are just more valuable. And one of them is if you know you can win a challenge, you should use that, especially if it takes off points. But then also like you should be able to know like what type of play is it, this or that. Like what are the odds there? That one to me just felt like a very emotional. God, if they get 2 points here, that's
no
going to
way
hurt.
that was getting overturned.
And it's like, yeah, it's going to hurt, but you're not going to get it overturned.
One look at the replay and it was pretty clear.
So Nuggets dropped this one. Here's one of my big takeaways from this back-to-back. And I know they didn't have their fully healthy roster the first time around. I'm not worried about Sacramento. I know it's early in the season. I know there's a lot, but you start to look at 1-8 matchups, potential 1-8 matchups. I think Denver beat Sacramento in a playoff series.
How many games?
There's so much time between now and then.
5?
There's so much time between now and then, but I just look at this and I go, I think Denver's better at everything they do.
Yeah.
More confident, more controlled, more everything.
Oh,
Yeah, I feel fine. Yeah.
This would be a matchup that is very possible for Denver in a 1-8 series.
Yep.
And I go, yeah, I feel all right with that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Imagine this game with our full complement of players. Like, it's a completely different game.
I think Murray cooks.
Yeah.
Murray absolutely cooks.
You really missed Aaron Gordon tonight, too, because I hit it at the top of the show, but the clutch defense this year, Aaron Gordon has been a massive part of that. Like, out of everybody, he might turn it up the most defensively in the clutch. He's been phenomenal. Like, last 5 minutes of close games on the defensive end, he's a beast.
Yeah.
And Denver really could have used that tonight.
Yeah. Yep.
Totally.
For one more point.
One stop.
Oh,
they just
man.
needed one stop.
This was so close to.
I'm going to hate to go back and look at the last 2-minute report because I saw another picture floating around Twitter about like an out of bounds call that should have been the Nuggets ball.
This
and
was
it's
so
just-
close to Yoke caps off
One
a
of those,
40
you
burger
know?
with a
God
game
damn it.
winner.
I
and
know,
the
that
Nuggets
thing
win
rattled-
another one shorthanded on the road.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
And instead, it's one of these lounges. It's basketball, game of runs, game of inches, game of math.
It's always said. It's been said. It's a game of inches.
This is a lot of games in a row, though, for the Nuggets. They do get to come back home for another extended homestand here, which is great. But I do think I kind of look at that upcoming game Friday night at Miami. Murray is rested. Gordon likely back rested. Maybe Bruce Brown comes back. It sounds like he was questionable, which makes you think, okay, he's probably not.
That makes you think it's not a serious injury, yeah.
But I do also look at that and go, but Yoke tonight looked really tired in the second half.
Yeah.
And I do look at that and go, he's going to have to kind of push through some tough games here. I mean, you come home for 4 straight games, I think it is again. So maybe it's just Friday, and then by Sunday he's back and well rested.
Dude, he's iron forged.
Tonight he wasn't, though.
Yoke went all out. Yoke went all in the first half. Was unbelievable. Like I said earlier, was playing as hard as I've ever seen him play this year. He got the Nuggets up 14 points. It should have been more because they had a typical end of half, end of quarter Nuggets collapse. But he played his ass off in the first half to get them up by enough where he felt like, even though they would be tired, they'd still be able to win.
I do think one of the things we talked about in the pregame was an opportunity for Jokic to kind of play leader, and I do feel like that was mission accomplished tonight. This was a very good, the guys that played tonight learned some lessons. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we'll get some super chats, and we'll go around the association, call it a night, and drive home. Oh, we have the draft. Oh, we have Jokic. I mean, I thought we got to that earlier. Jokic is our DraftKings sports. I mean,
he is?
Who else was it going to be?
Oh, look at that large, sloppy crown.
Yeah,
We've got too big.
You're right. You're right. We need a yarmulke
You applauded
back.
Kale for a larger size crown.
Man, I can't believe it.
Hanukkah's over, bro.
Absolute shit as a PNG, and whoever chose that crown is absolute.
I don't want to hear those excuses, Jair.
That's the DraftKings logo.
That's the DraftKings logo.
This PNG.
Good job, yeah.
Good job, yeah. We just lost the account.
We're looking for a new sponsor.
I tried to throw out some PNG
promo
lingo.
code DNVR.
Unbelievable.
Look at me. I'm a producer, PNG.
By the way, my name's Kale.
Oh, my God. That's incredible.
Guys,
Oh, you know what?
We have
play
fun
they're
of this show,
talking
don't we,
about?
guys?
All right. We'll pull it up on the phone.
yeah, that's the
we'll
one I
get
was
on the
talking
side.
about.
Look at
I'm
us.
sending it to Kale.
Yeah.
All right.
Guys, it's that time of year again. We're all in the holiday spirit. But what about basketball? When I throw down on NBA action, it's got to be with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NBA team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. No secrets on this show, Vogt. You got to say it into the mic.
He can see it.
Or just put it in the Slack.
I'll put it in the Slack.
Yeah, put it in the Slack. That's fine, too.
I think I'm going to get roasted online in the next couple hours.
Turns out,
Sounded like I wrote my life. That's not what you just said.
Turns out there are a lot of secrets on this show. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now to get in on the holiday hoops action. Sign up with code DNVR. Place a $5 pregame moneyline bet on any NBA team to win. Get $150 in free bets if they do. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook. With code DNVR, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Also, make sure to check out pinsandaces.com. Pins and Aces is the official golf apparel partner of DNVR. We love our Pins and Aces gear. We get tons of compliments on it. You will too if you wear it on or off the course. They've got awesome polos, hats, golf bags, and the beer sleeve. Check it out, pinsandaces.com. Use the code DNVR to get 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. There's also a new Breckenridge Brewery beer coming out soon.
We can't tell you too much about it, but we can tell you it's going to be sick.
It's Nuggets themed, though.
That
might have been too much.
No, that wasn't too much.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
Can't wait for it.
Very
though.
excited for it. Announcement incoming. Yeah. Pull up. Pull up the image I sent you. The tweet I sent you with the image here. I want you guys, and maybe zoom in. I don't know if everybody can see this. Look at this is the play. And actually, I noticed this live. From our vantage point. The camera. Vantage point where I was like, it looked like that guy was out of bounds when he touched the ball.
This was out of bounds by 3 feet.
By the way,
this
was actually an enormous play because this was Denver got to stop. They weren't getting any stops. They got to stop, but didn't somehow secure the rebound, lost it, and they ended up getting 2 points out of this one. And this was a major one for the rest of this. You see how out of bounds he is right now?
He's very out of bounds.
He is extremely
Super
out of
cool.
bounds. So
Super cool.
That's an unfortunate play. I also
we get to have the challenge.
Before we get to super chats at Around the Association, I want to have a little fun here.
Are we finally gonna have some fun?
Let's have some little fun, guys. We want to have fun on the Losers Lounge from time to time. You guys remember Drew Hanlon?
Oh no,
I've heard of him.
He's
You guys remember him?
the post god, Drew Hanlon.
You guys, when
goat
would you
poster.
think would be a good time to stand for your player and shit on another MVP candidate, do you think it would be right after they dropped a 60-point, 20-rebound, 10-assist triple-double?
No, that would be a terrible
That'd
time.
be a horrible time, right?
Probably not a good
that
time.
That would be like if you tried to make a point at that moment, you would probably be a fool.
Yes.
Kind of an asshat.
Yes.
Kale, go ahead and pull that tweet up that I sent you. Yeah.
Did you just do it again? No way.
Look at that. You know who wouldn't mess that up?
Man alive.
Kale.
Just kidding. Yes, he
Man, there it is.
Kale would have messed it up.
would. Kale would have messed it up twice as bad.
Drew Hanlon, immediately following the Luka one, he goes, Luka was incredible tonight, so don't take it, hey, let me set the table first. Luka was incredible tonight and has been all season.
But
so fun to watch.
However,
so fun. Guys,
don't be fooled.
no one has more fun than Drew Hanlon watching Luka play. I mean, he's
so much fun.
He's so fun.
What a treat.
But what a treat. What a treat, he said. But to show how biased the media is, first of all, he's going freaking biased media on this one. To show how biased they are, here are some facts for you. Maybe you didn't know some facts.
These are facts.
Joel Embiid is averaging more points, more rebounds, more blocks, higher field goal percentage, higher free throw percentage, and his team has a better record than Luka.
Has anyone even voted for the MVP yet?
It's December.
Adam voted in a straw poll.
I ran a straw poll. I'm like, just honestly, there's a couple things that are funny about this. Number one, Drew Hanlon has two clients that are MVP candidates. The other one's Jason Tatum.
Joel Embiid's clearly just paying him more money yearly than Jason Tatum.
Oh, because Joel Embiid has expressed very clearly that this is what he wants. He wants that MVP so badly, which is the only reason I don't want him to get it.
It is actually hilarious.
I've said this now several times. Like, I don't care I don't care if Jokic wins. I don't care. I really don't. But now, and like, I don't like earlier. I was like, just let Embiid win it. I don't care. Now, I never want him to. Like, his people are so unbearable. Like, I want only tragedy to befall.
Let me tell you how this works. Let me tell you how the world. Let me take everybody behind the curtain here,
please.
A lot of times you'll get an agent or a person, Harrison,
sliding into the DMs.
Slide into the DMs.
Just slide in the side door.
People slide into your DMs.
Well, it's usually agents.
Usually older males.
Yeah, older males. Agents or trainers or this or that. And you know what they'll say, Eric?
Random
They'll
people.
say, "Oh, hey, media member. I don't know if you noticed, but yes, Luka, it's cool if you see what he's doing, but did you know that my guy like this or that? It's behind closed doors. You do this, and you know what it is? Not a little gross, but not that gross. Or sometimes it's not even MVP. It's just, hey, did you notice my guy shooting 46% from three over his last 5 games?
I don't mind it, actually.
I don't mind it either.
I will take this opportunity to say, please slide into my
Slide
DMs
into
more.
the DMs, yeah.
Keep on sliding.
The slide's open.
Yeah, but don't make it
coming through the front door. You don't even have to use the side door.
DMs. Like, don't go full DMs.
Fill up my DMs.
So that type of lobbying is actually significantly more common than you would think.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't think it's bad for you to point out, like, hey, have you guys noticed? And usually it's something, like, to me, those stats he put out are so dumb. There's like, come on, he's averaging more blocks per game than Luka? No shit. Like, good job, dude. You blow my mind here. Oh, my God. This is incredible. But sometimes people will point out, like, hey, have you noticed this when he plays these minutes or whatever? Doing it that way, honestly, I think turns people off.
Yes.
And you were joking about you don't want him to win. I actually think some people go like, this dude wants it too bad that he's got his trainer
the campaign that Embiid went on 2 years ago is like has been stuck in the craw of every voter.
I honestly think it's true.
I agree because you're like, bro, back off.
This is our guy, but this is gonna end in an Andy Bailey, Drew Hanlon lightsaber battle.
Oh, it's so true.
Turning guys off from the other big.
Yeah, but it is funny that like Tatum might win this year, and I want to see what Drew Hanlon does. Embiid was robbed again. Like it'll be funny. Like this, he clearly has a
Tatum
guy.
should fire him. By the way,
He really should. Man.
has he said anything about him? You know what? Even he can't pretend there's no pro Celtics
I love
bias.
this. I love
That's
this.
what it is.
All right, let's get. Do we have any
media.
super chats? People pay just to complain about Bones. I saw somebody saying.
Yep.
Joe says Bones needs to get the ball to Jokic sooner on the last play. He made good passes, but needs to get the ball to Jokic sooner in their two-man game. I mean, I kind of don't know if I agree with this. Here's the thing:
that was the design.
Yeah,
I think he could have gotten it to him a little sooner, but in the end, they got a great shot at
Right.
it.
Yeah, like
27 seconds left when Denver took possession. 3-second point differential. They got the ball back. I think it was 2.7 or 2.8. That means you almost perfectly used all 24 and gave them the least amount of time to make a play with.
Yeah.
And they happened to make it. But to me, that was as important. Like, you want to give the other team, you want to play as safe as you can. If you don't score and you have a bad possession, but the other team doesn't even get a shot off, you don't lose. You go to overtime. So for me, I disagree with that comment. Again, he wasn't perfect down the stretch, but offensively, I actually thought he got the ball to Jokic quite a bit. The play that bugged me was the KCP three, because it was so clear Jokic was going to make something out of it. If I have one complaint about Bones' offense down the stretch, it was that one. I was just like, no, keep going to Jokic. You don't have to, well, we went to that one 3 times in a row. Let's get the count. No, you don't need the counter till fourth. Jokic will make the counter. Josh Barnett says, still first, Jokic still the Messiah. We're sweet, mate. Yeah, man, I like it.
We are sweet.
I didn't read that with my offensive Australian accent.
What the hell?
We're
I
sweet,
sweet,
mate.
mate. That's good. Yep, they like
There's
that.
a crack. Yeah, okay.
Thank God.
Rayvon says, rough moments for Bones, but plenty of turnovers. Dicey calls and questionable challenges to go around. Even a valuable learning experience for guys who rarely are in these roles.
What do you know?
That's
A
what I mean.
measured and a reasonable take from Rayvon, king of the chat.
There's a reason they call him the king of the chat.
That guy never gets too high or too low.
The king of the reasonable take.
He's built for 82 games as a fan.
This man
He
is
built for
He's
it.
built for the grind, dude.
Sometimes I don't know if I'm built for it.
You know what else?
Ray is
Definitely
built
not.
for
You know what
it.
he's built for?
Tough.
Bowling.
Oh, for sure he
I went
is.
bowling with him. He's fucking incredible.
He
Oh,
told
he's
us he
gnarly.
was incredible.
I
trying
went
to
with him,
become a
dude.
pro.
It's everyone in the chat. Do yourself a favor. Go bowling with Ray.
Wow, what advice. Andrew Boley says, want to shout out KCP, who's like the elite version of Gary on steroids, who's also the only Nug with championship experience. Just pumped he's a Nug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm also pumped he's a Nug.
All right, everybody keep reading these.
All right, I
I'm
got
so
you.
pumped
Pull up
he's
the
a
next
Nug.
one. Eugene Chang says, brutal end, but I do like taking a game to try to get more combos to jive.
Exactly.
First time at the bar and love the dedication through the snow still.
Bro,
Big love.
I hope we spoke.
Eugene, we may not have said hey
Let's
to
take
you, man.
everybody a bit behind the scenes. On numerous occasions tonight, we went up to the roof to clear off the satellite dishes.
Are we heroes?
For the
Are we?
DirecTV at the bar.
Oh, is everyone but me here a hero?
We trudged out, might have set off an alarm. I don't know if the cops
Oh, we
came.
fully set off an alarm. Mercifully, the cops have
Trudged
no
through the
interest in protecting
snow
us.
in exactly where we're right now and cleared off the TV so we could watch a Nuggets loss.
Very important that we can all watch them blow a lead together. Joe Clem 15 paid $5 to say Bones is struggling with pressure. Mitchell to be fair, Mitchell's that guy.
That guy's crazy, man.
Reminds me of Rook sophomore year Murray. In the first half of an on fire, MPJ passed up a 3 to Bones, who hit it. Loved it. I liked that moment as well.
But MPJ is better at that stuff than he gets credit for, man,
this
honestly.
This is true. Seth Bang, $10. Bones made some young guy mistakes in the end, but he had more assists than the rest of the starters combined. Finished with a 25 and 11.
That's a crazy stat line.
Double on 50% shooting. Chad is brain dead. And if you
A little
pay it,
zing
I'll
at the
read
end
it.
there. Listen,
pay it,
if
I'll
you
read it.
hate Bones, like you should be happy that he scored and did good things on the offensive end because it pumps up his trade value. Like,
That's so true. That's so true.
Gordon Glazner, king of the super chat.
Man,
king
our
of the
guy.
super chat. Glazner,
Gordon.
Glazner, what do you guys think? Okay, either way, he paid to say, I don't mind losing 1 out of 6 or splitting the bat-to-back in Sacramento. Every great team suffers some losses. We won't remember this in a month.
Nug
I-
hype. I
We
love
definitely
it.
won't
I
know.
won't even remember
That
this
last line is
tomorrow.
true.
I barely know what I'm doing.
Someone
forgot what
said
happened.
to me on Twitter, I wouldn't mind this loss at all if I had just missed the game. I thought that's the perfect way to frame it.
I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks lost to the Chicago Bulls tonight,
Oh, we're going to go around the end.
which
Everyone
is a
takes
worse
tough-
loss than this.
Everyone
go
takes
around
Did
the
y'all notice DJ yell at CB? Pass the F ball. LOL. It was during a fast break. CB tries to finish on every fast break.
I kind of like that, though.
Also,
Well,
like young guys.
if I was Christian Brown, I'd be like, well, I know if I pass you the ball, you're not going to catch it.
Yo, DeAndre had a couple like frustrating.
That's a
ones
great
tonight.
point.
Yeah.
So I don't really put much stock in that.
And
coming
finally,
from DeAndre
Casey
Jordan.
Israel, $2 to say, I was at the game, tough loss, but I love my
Hell
Nuggets."
yeah,
Hell
dude.
yeah,
Good stuff,
buddy.
Casey. Thanks for holding
Dude,
it down
the
in
chat
Sac.
travels. Have you noticed
Sac
that?
town.
Haley
Yeah.
too. I think it was
Haley,
I love the post game chat from people at
Me
the game.
too.
Do you guys want a quick ATA?
Oh,
Do
give it to me.
Around the association. Fire up that graphic.
The Brooklyn Not Dead Yets. Man, they're unfortunately relevant. They win another one, 108 for 107 over the Hawks. No buzzer beater, but a close win. They hang on. Durant, 26. Irving, 28.
They're really good, man.
I guess we got to live with the Nets for this season at least. Hooked on Phonics Suns. We saw the tough news regarding Devin Booker.
Why are they
tough.
hooked on
Because
Fonz?
it's Phoenix.
Yeah, it doesn't
Phoenix
mean-
and Phonics.
doesn't mean anything.
He's made that joke 400 times.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that listens
That's
to
right.
Brendan
Thanks,
Vogt.
Eric.
I've never heard that joke.
I've
Doesn't
heard that
mean
joke
anything.
so many times.
More bad news for them. They lost to the
warming up
Washington
my
Wizards, 127 to 102.
What kind of car do you have?
And it was DeAndre Ayton had 31 points. I bet the Suns blamed him for the loss anyway.
I'm sure we were saying this. They should have screamed at him more.
Did they work out after the game?
I hope Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton screamed at each other at some point during this game.
I hope that they split and DeAndre Ayton's the one that ends up like way better. You know how like Rudy,
Yeah, as the
Rudy
backup center in
Gobert and
Denver.
Donovan Mitchell have split, and you're like, all right, who's going to get the better of it? And it's like Donovan Mitchell.
Clearly Donovan Mitchell.
Hope that happens, but it's Ayton
Speaking
that
of
wins.
getting the better of teams, the Miami Heat got to play the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. They
Who got
the
the
better
better?
of them. The Heat win 112-98. Let's take a look at the little box score. Who cares about any of these teams? The
I
Lakers.
know. We don't need the details. Who cares?
Dude, the Lakers are down so bad, 14-21. My God.
They're
Oh,
done.
by the way, actually, this is the real around the association. Did you guys see the LeBron quote that went around?
Did he read The Godfather too?
No.
Oh.
LeBron had a quote tonight. I'm
Biography
gonna
of
pull
Martin
it up.
Luther King Jr.
I'm going to pull it up because it is.
The art of war.
This is LeBron. I'm a winner.
It's true.
First,
He's won.
I'm a winner,
couple
and I want
championships.
to win. And I want to win and give myself a chance to win and still compete for championships. That has always been my passion. That has always been my goal since I entered the league as an 18-year-old out of Akron. And I know it takes steps, blah, 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 blah. Gosh dang it, where does it? That's not the great quote. Where's the great quote at?
Oh, man.
Man, damn it, I can't believe I lost the one that was really good.
Wow, way to drop the ball, boss.
Man,
Adam would have been way better at this, I swear.
It's
man,
true.
this is messed up.
I could
man.
probably find it.
Playing basketball at this level, just to be playing basketball is not in my DNA. It's not in my DNA anymore.
He's not doing it for the love of the game anymore.
Hey, it's an interesting quote. Like, you might as well just retire if I'm going to be playing this.
Right.
This stuff.
Okay, so retire.
Well, I mean, maybe you shouldn't have put the team together.
Dude, LeBron is really going to force his way out of LA. That's
Have
gonna
you
be
noticed? Man,
hilarious.
I've watched so many things on Netflix when the Braun logo comes up. I'm like, what? Does this guy do any? Like, is he playing basketball outside of what we see him in the game? He literally is like that. Company is. I mean, and good for him. Except for with that quote, I don't know. Like, he seems like focused maybe on what's next.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the Bucks and the Bulls because the Bucks were more like the Knicks tonight. They led by 11 with 2:18 to go. They lost this game in overtime, 40-piece for DeMar DeRozan. And the Milwaukee Bucks kind of reeling, fellas, after an
Yeah, the
excellent
Bucks.
They're
start to the
reeling for
season.
real.
I mean,
They're reeling
They're
for
still
real.
without Chris Middleton, correct?
Well, he came back for
But then
a
I think he
game.
missed this game as well. Yeah, and then he went
But
out.
he was
now
out this
he's
game.
out.
Yeah.
It was a close one and a consequential
There's some
one
stuff going on in Milwaukee.
for the Nuggets in New Orleans.
Streets are talking.
What's going
What
on?
do you mean
There's
by
some
that?
things behind the scenes
Why would
happening
you say that?
in Milwaukee.
The one game Nuggets fans, the one result really had their eyes on was a close one in New Orleans. Looked briefly like the Wolves would steal it, fellas, but it's the Pelicans who can win in the end.
Oh wow!
Zion Williamson, 43 points. Turns out when he's healthy, he's good. Who knew?
I knew. I
So
knew
he
that
played
about
like
him.
Jokic tonight when we were like, he was okay.
He was all right.
No.
And then some Western Conference friends or foes, depending on your perspective. Utah clashed with Golden State. Golden State picks up the win, 112 to 107.
Did Utah peak on the first day of the season?
Just a real quick look at the West.
First quarter of the first
The
game.
Pelicans are technically in first right now. Denver tied for first place. Memphis a game and a half back in third. And then it's Clippers, Suns, Kings.
Nuggets got some home games coming up, though, so a chance to kind of get a new streak going.
I forgot. Killian Hayes tried to kill someone.
Nah,
Yeah.
whatever.
Who did he hit? Was it Wagner?
I have watched
Wagner?
that
Thank you.
clip now like 100 times. I cannot figure out when he seemed to lose consciousness, Franz Wagner, before the punch. Like he like goes limp as he goes into the arms of the opposing team. It's bizarre, man.
Wow. I'll have
Watch
to
it
take
again.
another look at
Dude,
that.
I've gone full Zapruder on this. Like I
Wow.
think there is a grassy knoll somewhere that needs to be
A
investigated.
second puncher.
A second puncher. Dude.
What's going on in Detroit?
What is going on in Detroit? Why do NBA players always fight there? What's
You know
happening?
the worst part about tonight?
Yeah, we were ready to party with the fellas.
Seasonal depression. That's
Yeah,
probably
drive
why
home.
they
Season-
fight.
yeah, I got like a long ass drive ahead of me in this really deep snow.
That's the worst part of tonight?
For sure.
Oh.
Are
I
you
might
really?
sleep here too.
Yeah, I gotta wake up. I have to be here at 7:30 anyway. But it's like fucking
Wow, man, that's hardcore right there. Yeah, it's hardcore.
I
now
might
you guys-
sleep here too. I don't
Now
know
you
how
guys
I'm
turned a
getting
corner.
home.
He used to be so adorable.
Is
now
this
I,
why some of those tabs are like taps are mysteriously tapped in the morning? The beer's just gone.
He just poured his own beers.
Yeah.
Me and Yaya are gonna tear it up tonight.
Oh, there's
Thanks
a
for
mini
riding
keg
with
right
us in the
behind you.
Losers Lounge, everyone. Hit
Isn't
that
it
like
filled
button
with
on the
Christmas
way
out?
out.
See you soon. See you next
soon.
time.